Hey, welcome back to another edition of Wolverine Chat. I am once again your host, Tim Raymond. We'll be going over the Michigan State game, um, some stats, just some of my gut feelings on where we're at, the ups and downs with Bryce, and where I think we're going the rest of the season. So this was a game, I think a lot of people would agree, like, I never thought we were going to lose, although I was watching it with my sister and brother-in-law and nephew, who happens to be my nephew, a Michigan State fan. So he, we don't go to a lot of Michigan State games together anymore. We went a few years ago, and when we won 49-0, he just, it wasn't fun because I just felt like I couldn't say anything to him. My sister was there and she's like, be nice. And so I'm never poking. And the only time he poked at me during the game is when they had the fumble, when Bryce fumbled and State recovered and they turned it back and he was poking at me and said, yeah. And then they called the offside. So I said, see, you know, it'll get back with you. You don't do that because karma, although I don't believe in karma, of course, but, you can cheer for your team, but I'm not much into ribbing others. So, yeah, it was a game I never thought we would lose. Although, like I said, I'm always negative. I don't mean negative. I guess you could say negative. I just like, oh, they're gonna lose. If they lose, and I got it's expectations, and we lose, the hurt is not as bad. And if they win, I'm even happier. And they usually do win, so I'm usually happier. But so never thought they were really going to lose, but never really thought they had it wrapped up until they started pulling away in the second half. And then just as quickly as they're pulling away, State has a little bit of life. But after those fourth down stops, yeah, we were going to win. So let's start the kickoff. Giles gets the ball in the second or third play from scrimmage, fumbles the ball. Michigan gets it, and it's looking pretty good to start out with. We, unfortunately, which was a tough series, went down and Zavada kicked the field goal, and we're up 3-0. So, again, we're up 3-0. It's better than being down, but that's almost I don't know if it's a win for State, but it's definitely lessened the sting. It should have been 7-0. Our defense come out on fire, but they got 3, so they're feeling okay, but Michigan's feeling okay too. After that, let's see. Zavada comes. Okay, we stop them. We stop them and stop them. That's basically what we did all day, except a couple different series. They had a couple series in the first half, and then that last garbage time series, which didn't really mean anything. So it's 3-0, and then at the 3:58 mark, Bryce Underwood rushed, I think, 12 or 13 yards. Most of their big rushes today were around the edge. They had the speed. Now, they had a couple gap rush. A couple off tackles. Marshall does that well, and so does Bryce. If Bryce gets in that second level, he's gone. But tonight, Bryce and Marshall, they really got to the outside, and it was they just got the speed. Justin Haynes, when he gets outside and gets that corner, just say goodbye. It's gone. So it's 10-0 going into the second quarter, looking pretty good. After that, Giles, who had a lot of pressure on him, but he made some poor decisions, not terribly accurate with his passing, but he moved the team down to the 1-yard line. They scored. Extra points good, 10-7, all of a sudden, a little closer than I'd like going into halftime. But, again, you're feeling okay. Because there's just some really bad special teams, really bad kick. The fair catch within the 5 line. I'm talking about Samaj, another penalty. I think it might have been on the touchdown. They got MSU got an unsportsmanlike contact. They had to kick it from the 10. It was Marsh who fair caught a kickoff at the 10, 12-yard line instead of running it. He had 30 yards, 40 yards of free territory. So just, they didn't cost him the game, but just some bonehead plays that they just got to, they just can't do. Things like that may not have cost you against MSU, but they're going to cost you against Ohio State. So, State scores 10-7. The extra point is good. We're into the third quarter now. Just if you read the podcast or you read social media, the fans are get rid of Sharon. I mean, it's the same story, just a different day. And yes, the offense was it was dumbing down. It probably looked like the Oklahoma game, just nothing going on. No, I mean, this was, especially the first half of the whole game, this was Bryce's worst showing. It was, I would take the Oklahoma showing. He showed more in control in that game. But he's been getting better today. He took a big dive. He's just did. Had a couple decent runs, and he controlled the offense, and he kept no interceptions. So from that standpoint, he's I keep reminding myself that he's 18. He's going to get better. What's his 7th game? By his 3rd year, he's going to be something else. We've got something, and we're young. My wife had to remind me that the other day how young this team is. So they're going to be fine. But third quarter, we come in halftime. They actually talked to Sharon at halftime, and he said they're going to make some adjustments. They brought in 2 tight ends, made some adjustments at the line, and sure enough, the first 3 runs were just big, huge runs for Justin Haynes. He moves 1 for 30, 1 for 20, gets down, and then scores from the 5-yard line. That was so big. That was just so big to go down there and take that double-digit lead. I can't even tell you. I mean, I really felt like I could breathe at that point. I knew it wasn't over, but that was so big. So Haynes, again, around the edge, goes for, I don't know how many yards, 6, 7 yards, after 3 or 4 great runs. Okay, so extra point good, 17-7. Michigan looking pretty good. Zavada with the extra point, and then their defense comes up big, keeps stopping them. Now, Michigan's got the ball. We're up by 10, moving the ball, and we all know what happens. There's a fumble. At first, my Michigan State fan nephew, said that's a fumble. And I said, no, it was a forward pass. His hand was going. I didn't even see the offsides. Well, they showed the replay, of course. His hand was back, ball knocked out, and then he threw. So it was clearly a fumble. Kind of a mistake. I don't think Bryce saw those guys coming. He needed to tuck it down and go down. Again, and one thing I wanted to say about their field goal in the first quarter, one thing he did do, if it's an old saying at Michigan, if you can't nail it, sail it. In other words, if that ball is you're not throwing it to a guy, sail that ball. And he, to Bryce's credit, he did, and we got a field goal. A lot better than forcing something, getting an interception, and getting nothing. So I wanted to give props to him on another kind of a mature play there. Then they showed the play, and it was close, but not as, according to my nephew, it was clearly onside, and I wouldn't go that far. I could see it going either way, but if I were Michigan State, I would not be happy, but what a relief. That changed the whole direction of the game. Yes, we won pretty easy, and we may have still won pretty easy because there's no guarantee State would have gone down and scored a touchdown with that fumble. But it changes momentum, and anyway, you just don't know. So Michigan's got the ball back, and we go down, and Justin Haynes once again, touchdown, 14-yard run around the edge, 24-7. At this point, I'm breathing again. I'm a kind of guy that I just, until they have that 00, I'm a nervous guy. It's not that I want my sister, I want everybody to know. It's not that I'm a negative guy. I'm a nervous guy. I just am nervous. Too many things have happened. The Lions up 17-0 2 years ago. The first time I'm going to see the Lions in the Super Bowl ever. And it doesn't happen. The Tigers 2 years in a row in a game 5. You know, sometimes I think they were with of course with school pitching, and they figure out a way to lose. They have a runner on. Oh, they're going to score, and somehow they don't. So, I know I need to be more positive, but I just too many things in my life have just gone the wrong way. But you know what? God is good, and I've had a lot of wonderful blessings too. So I don't want to sound like, oh, poor Tim, everything's bad. I'm very lucky. I have a wonderful wife, a wonderful family, and I'm very, very blessed with that. So, but when it comes to sports, yes, I just kind of expect the worst. Excuse me while I take a sip of that. So we're up 24-7. We're playing good ball, playing good defense, but then our Giles starts to have a couple good passes, a big run, and then he throws about a 40, 50-yard pass down to the 1-inch line. They called it a touchdown, I believe, at first. They took it back, but you knew they were going to do the little push, and I think they got in. Maybe they stopped them the first time. The second time they got in for 1 yard, and it's a touchdown. It's 24-13, excuse me, because they missed the extra point. They went for 2. They didn't miss the extra point. They went for 2, which I guess I could see them going for 2. It didn't really matter one way or the other. It didn't help Michigan a ton that they didn't get it. It wouldn't have killed them either. So it's 24-13. We're up by 11. And we had a couple times where we could not get a first down. That just drives me crazy. Just a couple times. Maybe throw a little out pass to Justin Haynes or to Marshall, or God forbid, maybe we can throw it to an extra receiver, a crossing pattern or an out pattern or a quick out and just get a few yards. But they don't. That's fine. But they don't get some first downs. They kick it back. And then this is where State, 4th down after 4th down, they stop them on huge. And Jimmy Rolder, that's my guy. He's been my guy when he wasn't everybody's guy. I just saw something in Jimmy, and I love that guy. I'll look at the stats here, but I think he had like 9 tackles. But that 4th down, he busted through like a cannon, hit him, stopped him, and I'm not sure who got him on the second, but it was because of Roll. Make no mistakes about it. He got through that thing and hit Giles 2-3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Giles moved for another maybe a yard or 2, but he was still a yard short of their first down, and then we stopped him on the second time. And so that 4th down. And another thing I want to talk about, Michigan went for it on 4th down sometime in the 3rd quarter. And I hate this. I said it when I was watching the game with everybody, and it happened. I'll say it every time. When you have a 4th and 1 and you're going to go for a rush or a quarterback sneak, I hate when they don't go under center. You're risking what happened. And it happened over his head. You're starting 8 yards back. So by the time you if somebody gets to the line of scrimmage, somebody busted us through already on the defense, they're right there to get them. If you're up on under center, you're just got to fall forward. The chances of you getting 1 yard, not pretty likely. Now, if it's 4th and 3 or 4th and, that's different. I'm talking about 4th and 1, 4th and inches, half a yard, 4th, just go under center. And even if you hand off, you're handing it off from the line of scrimmage. You're starting 3 yards front. So that when I saw that, I hated that I was right and I predicted it. But of course I was right, because that's a dumb play. And they're not the only guys that do it. A lot of teams do it, pro and college. I do not get it. And I heard John Jensen after the game saying the same thing. He just doesn't like that when they do that. So some college coach or pro coach, please tell me why you guys do that all the time. I would love it. And if any of you out there have any ideas, tell me why you think they do it too. So, bottom line is we gave it to them, and Michigan's defense came out like gangbusters, stopped them, and we got the ball back. And then Jordan Marshall, you could just see it. He busted a couple for 8, couple for 10. Boom. And then all of a sudden, he's gone. Got through that first layer, made that guy number 9 in State look like a total fool. He ran through him, around him, 56 yards. This time it wasn't Justin Haynes running for 50, 60, 70 yards, but it was the second time. Both players today is what I'm trying, or Saturday, ran for over 100 yards. I don't know how many times they have both ran for 100 yards. 200 90 yards or something like that. I'll let you know in a second. But that 1-2 punch, Justin Haynes. But here's what's sad. Well, let me finish going with the game. So we, Justin scores at Zavad extra point, and now we have a 14.5 point. I think Michigan was favored for. So I didn't bet on the game, but there are a lot of people biting their fingers. It looked like they put in Milkelovich, I believe. I hope I'm saying that right, but a couple sacks, like, okay, looking pretty good. And then he got a couple passes, and then that one pass for the touchdown, which didn't really affect the game, but it affected a lot of people's bets. So I did not want them to score. Even though it had nothing to do with money or betting, I just did not want it to be being looked 30-20. 30-14, 30-13 is so much better. That's a 31-13 is a smashing. You killed them. You destroyed them. You nailed them. 31-20 could go either way. It could have been, they just scored. It was like a 1-point game at the end of the game, and they got a last second kickoff return or some long pass or something. You don't know for sure. 31-20 is a that they killed them, but 31-13 is. Now in this case, they didn't destroy them, but they dominated enough that you kind of knew they were going to win, but State did have their chances. As far as stats overall, the total yards are pretty even. State had 305, Michigan 362. Of course, it was the passing yards. You wouldn't think someone who had 14 completions would dominate so much on passing, but they did. And that wasn't as much as Giles passing, but our lack of passing. We came out trying to make a statement with State's weak secondary and DBs. They came out, but they just couldn't get it. They couldn't get it going. They couldn't connect. Like I said, Donovan McNully was the only completion. No tight ends. Klein, I don't know what to say. He's a captain, but he's got to get less playing time. He is just not... He's not doing what he needs to do. We had our 2 backups last week, and it was the best offensive threat. It is what Bryson needs. He needs our tight ends to be productive, and it did not happen. So kudos to those who want to rip on Sharon. Kudos to Sharon. He didn't force it. When it wasn't happening at halftime, he goes, okay, we're going to change this. And they did. And they came out, and they pretty much dominated the second half. I don't like that the passing game was so bad. I don't like that but they can go, if it's not working, go to what is working. Know what you can do. Don't force what you want to do. Try what you want to do. If that's not working, go what you can do. Okay, and they did. But I got to talk here. I talked a little bit about Klein. It's just getting old. I know he's a captain, but he's got to be limited. But this is somebody that it pains me to say this. But because he was been one of my favorite players, and I guess he still is. But I think you know what I'm talking about. Samaj Morgan, 8th drop pass. We were talking about that little flip pass last week that he dropped. This is right in his arms, just right here. Every time I went back and looked at all his drops, he's looking upfield. Then and the ball's right there. And by the time he looks back, the ball hits off his hands or shoulder pads. It's just. He's got speed, but that's it. He's got to be put away. Put out the pasture. He can run kickoffs, put him in now and then for some end arounds or a trick play. But he is not reliable. And we gotta McCulley and Marsh. McCulley, I think, is our clear number 1, but Marsh is gonna be. Those two are okay. Channing is young. He's gonna get better. But we need to get another top receiver next year in the not in the draft, but in the transfer portal. We just got to. But I think we're going to be okay for the future. This year, I just didn't know where we're going to be. I thought we had a chance at the playoffs, as it looks like we're going to have a chance at the playoffs. Not clearly. We should beat Purdue. We should beat Maryland, and then it comes down to Ohio State. I know everybody didn't think we were going to win next year, so why don't? And we're better this year, but why do you think we're not going to win this year? I don't know. They're Ohio State, and we have a chance. We got to get better over the next few weeks. Passing, we got to have a dual threat. If we rely just on our running, as good as Justin Haynes, as good as Marshall is, in fact, speaking of Marshall, that's who we need to use as a tight end. Bring Marshall in, and he was impressive last week. But so we'll see. But if they are competitive against Ohio State and they don't make the playoffs, I'm going to be disappointed, but I'm not going to throw away the season like a lot of you are. I thought they might beat USC, and I thought if they were 10-1 going into Ohio State and lost, they'd still have a chance. If State was number one. But with the 2 losses, they clearly not going to go in because they're not a 3-loss team that is clearly dominant, especially if they lose to Ohio State. If they beat Ohio State, they're going in. I'm telling you, they're going to be a 2-loss, they're going in. But if they lose, I don't care if they lose by 1 point, they're not going in with 3 losses because they're just, and that's the last 3 games. They win 48-3, 54-0, and they beat Ohio State. So, again, that's going to be about it. I'm always happy when you beat a rival on the road. I'm never going to be upset. I am glad I could celebrate. I love to see it, but it was a disappointing offensive showing. It just was defensively. It was. I don't know what to say about defense. Those guys were just fantastic. A couple shout outs on defense I do want to mention if I can get to it. Again, Jimmy Rolder, 9 tackles. Hear me out, 9 tackles. Double. Excuse me. Hausman had 6. So, but after Ernest, Derek Moore had 4. So he was more than double on everybody except one guy. He had 1 sack. And then Derek Moore had 2 sacks. So as far as we'll say defensive play of the game, TJ Guy had a sack too, and tackle. Who else did anything good? Jair Hill, I thought, played fairly well. Not a lot of stats, but he was on his guy a lot. Derek Moore had a decent game, 2 sacks. But Jimmy Rolder is defensive player of the game, if you ask me. I just love that guy. If you can't tell, he's like one of my favorite players. Offensively, I think I go back to Marshall. I thought Justin Hayes in the first half was just a little bit slow. He might have been a little hurt. I don't know. But he came back in the second half, and he was great. But I'm going to give it to Marshall as the defensive or the offensive player of the game. Next week, we got Purdue. I'll be there. I don't think it's going to be a tough game. This is a get-right game offensively. If there ever was, this is it. So, guys, take care. God bless. Do something great for somebody. Please like, subscribe, say anything. I appreciate it. Just if anything you can do to help me grow this channel, I appreciate it. God bless. Take care.